Thank you so much. This whole project today is such a labor of love because when we think about health, we're thinking about it today from so many different places. But the number one question I get, and there's probably a big duh because I'm a dietitian, is what do we actually eat? And, what we should eat today, what will we be eating in the future, can seem like, it could seem like a pretty straightforward question. Just going to advance. A pretty straightforward question because the answer really should be food. But unfortunately, and as an ex-advertising executive working for food company, major global brands, I can tell you this is the world that everybody's living in. And this is why the question, what to eat, is a really, really complicated question. Should I be gluten-free? What about non-GMO? What about macrobiotic? Do I eat vegetables every day? And am I following a plant-based diet? Or is it just plant-based until 6 o'clock? Or what is something really sugar-free? Or what does no sugar added mean? What about if my kid is allergic to 6 or 7 different things? What can I actually eat? So the question of what to eat has actually become a really, really big question, and it's very confusing to people. And it's done the thing that pains me the most. It has made nutrition sound complicated. And for all of you that are here, and for anyone I've ever spoken to, I want you to understand nutrition is really simple. Nutrition and eating well is actually so simple that in the remaining, we have 8 minutes here. I promised myself I would explain it in 5 minutes and give you time for questions. We need to eat. We need to eat food. We definitely want to make sure that when we're eating food, we're paying attention to 4 key things. If you pay attention to these 4 key things, you don't need to know anything else. Nutrition for optimal health is based on 4 pillars: quantity, quality, nutrient balance, and frequency. So quantity, as an ex-advertising executive, I can tell you, portion control needs a total makeover. The concept of portion control has everyone shuddering. It makes, I don't know about you, but when I even hear the word control, all I want to think about is I don't want anyone controlling me, what I can have, what I can do, what I can say. So it puts us in this sort of negative space with portion control. We also always tend to think that we're being restricted from a portion control standpoint. Oh, there's a big piece of meat like this, I should only be eating this amount. There's a big bowl of pasta like this, I should only be having this amount. The reality, though, is if we start to think about quantity as actually an area of opportunity, quantity actually means that, yeah, you can have it. Do you know that you can eat any food that exists in nature as long as you pay attention to the quantity? So if you want to have your cheese, you want to drink your wine, you want to eat your meat, we've got other factors that we'll get into these other principles, but if you pay attention to the quantity, you can have it. So I want you to think about quantity as actually your ally. It means that you can have things, and as a result, psychologically should change things. Quality. I'm a qualitarian. I fundamentally think everybody should be a qualitarian. To me, it is the only piece that we need to focus on today because it is such a part of that confusion, and it's also such a part, unfortunately, of the problem. When we talk about nutrition for optimal health, the reason we need to focus on quality is that we have chemistry lab projects. Chemistry is awesome. I love the class. I love to blow things up, add stuff, do stuff. It's really great. We have chemistry lab projects, and then we have what should go inside of our body. We need our body to recognize what it is getting. When it recognizes what it is getting, and it recognizes it easily, it can work easily. It works efficiently. It doesn't get irritated. It isn't like it's trying to every single day read or understand a language that it doesn't recognize. When we focus on quality, we get another vote for yes, you can. So the answer always isn't going to be the veggie burger is better than the beef burger, or the fish, you shouldn't have the fish and you should have the hemp seeds. The answer is going to be what is the quality of any of those? You have to ask yourself that question first before we move over. So that's answering questions like, is it organic? Is it non-GMO? Is it made with artificial ingredients? Are they telling me things on the front of the package that they're not delivering on in the ingredient label? Those are important things to know from a quality standpoint. The last two, nutrient balance and frequency. Nutrient balance is very key. We have focused for too long on calories. How many people here have ever been told to count calories or have paid attention to the calories? and in particular, the calories that you consume in the day. And if you haven't been told that way, you're kind of lucky because the rest of America has been taught that way. And the challenge that we have is that when we ascribe numbers of calories in a day, we are not focusing on, number one, quantity, how much are you having at any one time. We're focusing on how much you're having during the day, but we're also not focusing on what the quality of those calories are. We're not focusing on what the nutrients of those calories are. So from a nutrient standpoint, carbohydrates do one thing in the body, proteins do something else, fats do something else, and my fourth food group, non-starchy vegetables, do something else entirely. We cannot have you just look at something that's 150 calories. You need to know, am I getting carbohydrates, proteins, healthy fats, and am I getting those non-starchy vegetables? Because if you eat just for calories, you're going to be missing out on the other pieces of optimal health. So I look for you to balance your nutrients at every eating occasion. So then there's this fourth pillar, and the fourth pillar is frequency. And frequency has to do with thinking about your body like a race car. So I need you to pit stop regularly throughout the day. Another reason that this idea of all the calories that you can have at one time, or your total calories for the day is flawed, is that a lot of people that I've worked with eat maybe 100, 200, 500 in the day, and then they backload 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 at the end of the day. And that does not set us up for success. Our body is overwhelmed when it gets too much at one time. We don't sleep as well when we backload and eat it in the evening. If we're trying to be perfect all throughout the day, we're probably not enjoying our food. And frequency, if we think about our bodies like a race car and we think about pit stopping, all we need to think about in that space is, hey, guess what? Every 3 hours, roughly, I'm going to have something. So it takes a lot of pressure off of making sure that, I have the perfect amount, or I have everything that I wanted at that one time. It means that we're going to be refueling at a regular basis. And it also means that because we're going to be refueling, we can pay attention to that quantity. We can evaluate quality, and we can say to ourselves, I can have that right amount, those right bites, because I know in 3 hours I'm going to have it again. So frequency is really about making sure that your body isn't overwhelmed from a nutrition standpoint at any one time. So I have done it. That is it. When it comes to what we need to eat tomorrow, I have this all on my website for free in a download that explains to you where the nutrients fit. You will see that I've added that fourth food group across the bottom, the non-starchy vegetables. There are some other things that we can talk about, and we will be talking about later today. I hope you'll join me for the Future of Food conversation. We'll be talking about how social media is playing a role and how what's going on in our food systems. But when it comes to what we need to eat today to tomorrow, it's those 4 nutrition principles. And if you pay attention to those 4 nutrition principles, you have your answer. So if it's that simple, everybody should be able to have and to achieve nutrition, better quality nutrition, which will deliver optimal health. So that is the end. Does anyone have any questions for me?
So, I was listening to your frequency bit, and there's a whole movement out there, of course, called intermittent fasting.
Yes.
What do you think about that? What do you tell people that think that you should have 16 hours of non-feeding time per day?
Great. I love movements. They're awesome. The movements that are out there have pretty much assured me job security as a dietitian for as long as I want to work, and unfortunately probably longer. And I say that in jest, but also with some merit. We are all individuals, and there are things that can work on an individual level. I certainly think that if those 16 hours mean that we're done eating sooner and we're getting rest and we're getting a greater amount of time with rest, and maybe 8 or 10 of those hours are sleeping or meditation or yoga, that can be great. But I also think that what that happens is I have people hear that and they try it, and unfortunately they end up making nutrition choices that negatively impact their blood sugar, or they stick with something for a time period and then just get really frustrated with it and don't make good choices. So I think it could have some merit, but I don't necessarily think it's the single prescription for optimal health for everyone. Other questions, thoughts, ideas? Is everyone having fun? Have you gone around and seen things? Everything that's here today is about nutrition for optimal health, so I'm really excited. And then there's the fitness piece. Well, we are done. We're out of time, so I'm excited to go check everything else out. And thank you, and I will see you later today at the Future of Food. So thank you.